Hi, I'm Sam Hawley, coming to you from the lands of the Gadigal people. This is ABC News Daily. There's been an extraordinary counter-offensive in the war in Ukraine, with Ukrainian troops successfully retaking 3,000 square kilometres into a key town in the northeast of the country. But in Russia, the advances have been largely ignored by President Vladimir Putin, whose propaganda machine is in overdrive. Today, New York Times foreign correspondent Valerie Hopkins on life in Moscow. Valerie, I want to get a sense from you about what life has been like in Russia since the start of the war. We know in the beginning we did see some resistance, didn't we, to it? But it didn't last long.
Absolutely. I think there's been a couple of stages that people in Moscow have been through, and I think a lot of people were in shock. One of the women that I talked to said, for us this felt like the end of the world. Yes, thousands of people went to protest. I think more than 16,000 people were arrested, according to one watchdog. Thousands of people, tens of thousands of people left. I think that contributed to a real climate of panic and uncertainty and fear.
Just explain the rules or the laws that the Kremlin brought in at that time to really restrict protests.
It's quite remarkable, actually. Almost any form of protest, even a Facebook post, is essentially criminalized. There's one law, there's two different elements of that law. One is about discrediting the Russian military. So if you do anything that can be deemed as discrediting the Russian military, that can land you in jail, and that can land you up to 7 or 10 years in jail. If you are spreading fake news about what the Kremlin calls the special military operation, that also can land you, I think, 15 years in jail. But yes, there are countless people who try to protest in small ways, whether, writing in a Telegram group on social media or on Facebook, or, there's also a case of a famous artist who was trying to put up prices in the supermarket. She was putting the prices with numbers that corresponded to the amount of people killed. And she also is in prison, I think, facing a years-long sentence.
За Россию! За победу! Ура!
But I think that, once May 9, the Victory Day, when people were expecting that Putin would possibly announce a general mobilization or, a further heightening of put the country on wartime footing, when that didn't happen and when the summer sun arrived, people sort of got used to the new normal and started trying to figure out how to live with it.
So people, I suppose, felt a bit better when the sun was out and there's this new normal. I want you to unpack what the new normal looks like for me.
I mean, it's really difficult to try to describe the mood in Moscow. There are so many Moscows and there's so many groups of people, right? There is a group of, I don't know, probably 20, maybe higher percent in Moscow that are deeply, deeply upset. Some of them lost their jobs. Some of them are taking antidepressants. They don't know what is ahead. Also, something that has come up time and time again in my discussions with people here, frustration with especially the European Union, which has had all of these discussions about banning Russians, canceling Russian visas, not allowing Russians to come on holiday or to study in their countries. But many others, Russians long ago, made this kind of social contract with Putin that he would steadily improve their quality of life and allow them to live comfortably in a modern city with all the technology and all of the brands and all of the, just as they could in any other European capital, as long as they don't get involved in politics or protests. So, many people are apoliticized. People express this feeling that things are quite normal. Yes, prices have gone up. Yeah, we miss Zara, or we miss, specific stores, but we can take it. We can move on. The West doesn't want us to have them. Even among those people who hate this but have chosen to stay, they're trying to figure out how they can meaningfully contribute to their community or build a community because half of their friends left, how to keep some semblance of doing what they were doing before.
So it sounds like they, if not support the war, they accept the war.
Look, there are certainly a lot of people who are enthusiastic supporters. There was a new poll released by the Carnegie Center, actually. And what they found is that about 47 or 50, about half of people said that they definitely supported the actions of the Russian Federation. But it's very difficult for them. State TV does not show the full extent of what the Russian military is doing in Ukraine.
Okay, so Putin's controlling the news, he's controlling the message. But what else, Valerie, is he doing to gain this support among the people of Russia, given the atrocities that we're seeing in Ukraine, but also a huge number of Russians are dying in this war?
Absolutely. Well, that's also something that the government doesn't speak about. I think that the last time they released any official numbers, it was in the low thousands, and it was a long time ago. And that's not something that you will see in the news or see on TV or that gets talked about. So, there is a concerted effort that's already been happening for years now of, increasing patriotism, increasing support for the military, but not really speaking about the cost of these wars and military campaigns.
It's really incredible the lengths that Putin has gone to control the message. He even, on the weekend, as Ukrainian troops were taking back territory from the Russians, he went and opened a Ferris wheel in Moscow, just completely ignoring what was going on across the border. And then last month, there was a military celebration in the Red Square in Moscow, and you went to that. Describe what that was like.
This is a festival that's been happening for almost a decade. Spasskaya Bashnya, this military festival, basically celebrating military might, performing. But there are also events, like another one I went to outside of Moscow at the Patriot Park. It's teaching children how to shoot weapons. People of all ages. Children were scrambling over tanks that were, emblazoned with the letter Z and V and O, which are the three letters that kind of represent Russia's invasion of Ukraine. And everywhere there's this kind of rhetoric, like it was even written on a tank, like smash the fascists. So this is a climate now that some children are growing up in, and on top of that, they are now going to have patriotic education in schools for the first time. Every Monday morning, they have a discussion about what's important, and some of those lessons, it seems, are going to be about supporting the Russian military and why the invasion of Ukraine was necessary. It is particularly alarming when there's a massive military operation in neighboring country, when they've attacked the neighboring country and there's no end in sight.
Valerie, we did talk about the fact that there are Russians, of course, who oppose the war, people who are still in the country. Is there any way that they can protest or make their feelings known? And are they trying to do that still, or has that gone completely?
I think this is the hardest thing for many people to grapple with, right? Some people are very brave. I was reading a letter yesterday sent to me from a jail in Moscow, written by a young student who was trying to organize protest actions on the social networking app Telegram. And the rector, I believe, of the university saw this chat and denounced him to the authorities. Now he's sitting in jail and, he doesn't regret what he's done, and he believes it's important to speak out. Anybody who undertakes that at this point knows that there are consequences. It's this ultimate powerlessness.
Valerie Hopkins is a foreign correspondent with the New York Times based in Moscow. The Kremlin's muted response to the Ukrainian gain in the war has provoked some anger among pro-war commentators on social media, while some Russian state media did eventually report that ground had been lost. This episode was produced by Sydney Peed and Sam Dunn, who also did the mix. Our supervising producer is Stephen Smiley. I'm Sam Hawley. ABC News Daily will be back again tomorrow. You can find all our episodes of the podcast on the ABC Listen app. To get in touch with the team, email us on abcnews@abc.net.au. Thanks for listening.
Subscribe to listen to more free podcasts or download the ABC Listen app and stream ad-free.